replies, well, white people crying actually was...
Wait, hold on. Interviewing the actress about the film, not Star Wars, which follows a young black woman who turns activist after witnessing her friend being shot by the police. Noah asks, what do you want people to walk away with? Steinberg replies, well, white people crying actually was the goal. And they laugh, and the audience laughs.
Firing somebody. And that threat does not have to be explicitly delivered to an individual. I don't have to say, like, you're on strike, buddy. I'm going to fire you if you do it. It is a blanket sense of, like, if you go on strike, I want my workers to know this, you're going to get fired.
And they allow those
now
okay,
or in the future.
Actually,
that's
yes,
illegal.
Nice. That's good to hear.
And so when they did this, or when they posted this interview or did it live or whatever it was, the UAW the next day decided to sue. And big-brained Tim Pool has an issue with that because he's for the working man.
Auto workers union has filed complaints against Donald Trump and Elon Musk, alleging the two advocated for firing striking workers. So what? The former president and the owner of X held a conversation on Musk's platform this week.
Like I'll reiterate here, and maybe he'll get to it in this article. So what? That's illegal. It is a threat. And your National Labor Relations Act says you cannot do that.
So
Go
what?
ahead.
But check this out. Let's read. They say the United Auto Workers Union has filed complaints against Donald Trump and Elon Musk, alleging the two advocated for firing striking workers. So what? The former president and the owner of X held a conversation on Musk's platform, this we know. At one point, Trump and Musk were talking about workers who go on strike for better wages. Trump said...
The other difference is that, like, when it came to Joe Biden and the striking railway workers, like, every single leftist who reports on this kind of stuff was like, oh, fuck Joe Biden. It wasn't a team sports thing. It's not like, wait, people are coming after Joe. No, he's our guy. You can't talk shit about that man. It's like, no. I'm more issues based than I am the personalities.
If workers go on strike and you say that's okay, you're all gone, so everyone is gone. Under federal law, a company cannot fire its employees if they are on strike, but you don't got to pay them. So there you go. The unfair labor practices charged were filed with the National...
Just in case you have the intelligence of Tim Pool, I'll explain to you. What he just said is a complete non sequitur. You cannot.
I'm assuming because, you know, Sam's older, family man kind of stuff. He doesn't have the time to consume YouTube like the rest of us. That he might not have watched like the Timba on Toast series on Tim Pool. Because if you do, you'd know that's just how he operates.
So everyone is gone. Under federal law, a company cannot fire its employees if they are on strike, but you don't got to pay them. So there you go. The unfair labor practices charged were filed with the National Labor Relations Board. The UAW said Tuesday, just hours after the discussion, more than 1 million people tuned into the session. Quote, when we say Donald Trump is a scab, this is what we mean. When we say Trump stands against everything our union stands for, this is what we mean, said UAW President Shawn Fain in a news release. Musk himself has been outspoken against unions, criticizing them for creating inequality among employees. Tesla,
keep reading,
which is also owned by Musk, is the only auto manufacturer in the U.S. whose workers are not unionized. Bravo, Tesla.
Okay, wait, I can't hear anything.
Tesla. Shout out to the workers manufacturing among
go back
employees.
a little bit. We need to hear what he says about Tesla here.
Himself has been outspoken against unions, criticizing them for creating inequality among employees. Tesla, which is also owned by Musk, is the only auto manufacturer in the U.S. whose workers are not unionized. Bravo, Tesla. Shout out to the workers. Well, multiple...
Wait, sorry, what? Bravo, Tesla. Shout out to the workers? Did you not process the sentence you just read out loud? It makes no sense. Make it make sense.
Idea. Shout out to the workers? Yeah, like that's the workers' decision.
The bosses are imposing unfair like wage labor shortages, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, well, fuck yeah, power to the workers, power to the people. Yeah, we will never be defeated.
The bosses have been trying to do it. No, Tesla very regularly kills employees. Sometimes those are independent contractors, and it is not a it's not a shout out to the workers scenario that they're not getting water breaks or whatever.
But it's not. Incidentally, he may not know this, but the workers at all these other car plants, They decided they wanted a union. That's why the
Also
union is
workers.
there. Yes.
Yes, but shout out to the special Tesla workers, the ones that remain who weren't fired for attempting to unionize. So this is the guy
Right.
that's pro-worker. He's claiming.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to the workers who were still around after, if they didn't get fired by Elon Musk.
I think he's just pro scab, I'll be honest with you. If they were like, yeah, your workers don't want to work, fire them. Cool. Get rid of them all. And then you replace them with better workers. And then you're like, yeah, that's called scabbing. You're describing scabbing. That's what you, yeah. And you're not allowed to fire your actual workers if they strike. It's like Sam pointed out, you don't have to pay them. And that part is true.
Because they tried to make the decision to unionize. How is that a shout out to the workers? It's to the shout out to the people who remained
Just unbelievable.
after Elon Musk. You know what? I'm going to make a prediction that Elon Musk is on Timcast in the next 2 or 3 months.
Very possibly.
I would not take that bet if it was like, hey, by the way, I'll wager you. Be like, ugh. Even with good odds, she's probably right.
It's because it is a cringe woke fest of garbled nonsense. And
That's why. Did they say that? It's in the article, I'm sure.
they have burned Star Wars to the ground. Yeah, I liked the original Star Wars. It was fun. Some people say it was a ripoff of Dune or whatever. I don't know. I don't care for Dune.
I don't know. I'm confused. Why invoke it then? Not really familiar with the property. I think I saw a part 1 or a part 2. I'm confused. Yeah, Dune. Yeah, there's a lot of inspiration that Star Wars, the original trilogy, takes from a lot of different sources, specifically samurai films from Japan, and combines a lot of old tropes, the hero's journey, into what I would say is more impressive than anything else, an incredibly creative special effects extravaganza. The company, Lucasfilm, when they started developing the technology for the special effects of that trilogy, it's actually pretty incredible to see the stuff. Like, they were inventing entirely new techniques to make spaceships look like they were flying through space by actually moving the camera around the spaceship and then moving the camera away, which is actually pretty cool because that allowed it to, on the big screen, look as if it was flying above you. And then everyone was like, oh my God, I'm in space. So that was neat.
Star Wars was pretty cool. I watched this video explaining how they made the lightsaber noises.
They blew up models.
Holy crap. It's really cool. What they did was...
Hidden Fortress by Kurosawa is one of them, yes.
They took, starring Amanda Stenberg, sources told Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first season of the series from creator, director, executive producer Leslie Headland wrapped its run on Disney+. Yeah, and they had this viral video where they were like, it's not made for white men or something like that. Let me see if I can pull that.
That never happened. No, unfortunately. So one of the 2 people who stars in the series as the leads, she basically is in an old interview, not related to Star Wars at all, where she was making a joke. Yes, on The Daily Show. That's independent of any of the media that came out to promote the film. It's what N Wokeness, Jack Pasebic, found and was like, she says this movie and series is not for white people. And it was like, no, it was a joke about a show that discusses racial issues, and that joke was a reference to, again, the exact series that she was talking about. So, but yeah, that's the thing.
Because that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
They were like saying something like that. What is this? White angry nerds. Star Wars. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars actress Amanda Stenberg's white people remark sparks fury.
Oh, this is separate. Okay.
She said, interviewing the actress, she says, what do you want people to walk away with? Stenberg replies, well, white people crying actually was...
Wait, hold on. No. Stenberg, who identifies as non-binary, appeared on Comedy Central's The Daily Show with Trevor Noah in 2018 as part of a press tour for the movie The Hate You Give, interviewing the actress about the film, not Star Wars, which follows a young black woman who turns activist after witnessing her friend being shot by the police. Noah asks, what do you want people to walk away with? Steinberg replies, well, white people crying actually was the goal. And they laugh, and the audience laughs. Again, it's not a thing. It's in front of you right now, Tim. It's like it's all here, all the context. You just jumped past all the context and went right to this line. Well, white people crying actually was the goal. As if she's saying that spitefully. And that's kind of strange, too. Just like, you know, think a black person's just going to walk around going up to white people. I hope you cry, whitey. Wait, why are you talking like that? I don't want to cry. Yeah, no, I love white tears. No, it's a joke. It's on a TV show that's not related to Star Wars at all.
Crying actually was the goal. That's not actually about Star Wars. It was about...
Oh, thank fuck. Oh, thank God. I was like, this one's really bad. You can't just like, have the article in question on the screen while you talk about it and just jump right to this one line and be like, that sounds bad, right? That sounds like anti-white racism, you know, wanting us to cry, wanting us to shed our beautiful tears.
Her movie, The Hate You Give. And I'm sorry, when you attack the majority of the country and insult them, you're probably going to lose viewership.
No, you were so close. You can't be like, okay, just to be clear, I don't think this is about Star Wars. Something else. But she was being very discriminatory towards white people, as we all know that. She wants to have white tears. Yes, collect the sweet, delicious white tear. No. In reference to the film, the context was there. Not only the name of the movie, but why she, like, what she was referencing within the plot of the movie.
They say the news is not entirely surprising. The Acolyte did okay with critics, 78% of Rotten Tomatoes, but divided Star Wars fans, which was reflected in its overall viewership.
Also, I would say if I look this up right now, what's the user rating compared to the people who reviewed the movie? I'm going to guess that that's going to be a bit of a juxtaposition, right?
Driven by interest into the venerable space franchise, the Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th with 2 episodes, generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer, to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year.
You'll never guess this, friends, but when you go, apparently the critics gave it 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the online reviews are 18%. Striking that. Unusual how this keeps happening with all the films deemed part of the culture war. Every movie that's considered too woke for those who know, those who don't want the message.
Rose to 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming. Corroborating Disney's data, the series made its debut on Nielsen's top 10 originals chart in its premiere week. Now, hold on. How did a show...
I was like, you understand that what you're reading is that it actually performed very well initially.
Start off as their #1 show and then get canceled. They said the Acolyte could not sustain the momentum, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning at number 10 after the release of the finale.
You know what, like, the data shows, because the Acolyte is actually, I think, behind Andor. Yeah, for their original series streams. All right, this is just how much people have watched it. So rewatchability will play into this quite a bit as well, because it's a little bit different than talking about Nielsen ratings. But yeah, so the Acolyte is at 244 million estimated minutes of viewing, and then Andor below it. This, I'll be honest with you, is the best of all the original Star Wars series by like a monstrous huge margin. It starts out a little slow, and that you don't really understand why everyone's so into it. And then once you start getting basically to the prison arc onwards, you're like, holy shit, this is really inspiring and cool. And then done within the Star Wars universe well, and not being dependent every 2 seconds on nostalgia. And like, you remember this, you like this, yeah, you love this reminds you of your childhood when you were safe, you want to see more of it. It's not that, but like everything else is just, half of these I think I've only gotten 1 or 2 episodes into, because it's just schlock. It's endless schlock. It's more schlock after schlock. The world building, the fact that you sometimes can't even watch a second season of a series without also having watched previously a separate film, which you didn't know, but you were supposed to watch that movie independent of the other series. So you can't just go from 1 to 2. You have to go 1, another movie, and then 2. Otherwise, you will not get a lot of the references that take place in the second season, and like all of that kind of shit. Like, everyone just grows so tired of it. And then along comes the Acolyte. It does some things, some original ideas. It has some cool concepts. It has a very, very cool and sexy as fuck villain, and that is true. And that part was kind of like, oh, okay, I can see why everyone's so into this. He's very original, and this is kind of fascinating.
Yeah. Successful to date. The Mandalorian is carrying on, crossing over to features with the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu Ahsoka, the company's series that preceded The Acolyte, has been renewed for a second season.
Ahsoka.
I got to tell you. You know why it failed? It's actually quite simple. The first couple of episodes, everybody pointed out, were actually fine Star Wars. And it didn't, and until like episode...
Good Star Wars. Adequate Star Wars. It was.
Episode 3, they waited to bring in the lesbian space witch weirdness. And then
Again, it's like, you would think, right? Listening to these fucking weirdos talk about this shit, you would think that if you turned it on, it would just be this massive lesbian orgy of like the heights to which are almost satanic in scope. And you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe literally like, yeah, so this is a coven of women. A coven of women who seem to be able to use the Force in their own way. They call it the thread, but they still are capable of using some of the Force, and they want to maybe protect some of these younglings from the Jedi. Well, that's wild, and that's about it. That's the episode. that's the big gay. that was it. You leave, and it's like, wait, what? Sorry, wait, is there going to be like anything gay about this at all? Like even remotely gay?
everyone was like, I'm not watching it anymore. Get woke, go broke, baby. This is a great example.
Oh man, like anyone who just stopped watching the series because the very idea of women enjoying each other's company was just grotesque to them. Anyone who did that, like, that sucks, because like honestly it does get fairly interesting once they introduce the villain to the series. I was like, oh, that is a cool villain. All right, you did a lot of the old classic Star Wars tropes where, you know, the person you don't really suspect the whole time turns out to be this incredibly badass, like, and you're like, holy shit, that, ooh, okay. And yes, very, very handsome villain at that.
Number one series for Disney Plus, and then it just crumbles in front of their eyes. Ha! Cry more about it. You destroyed Star Wars. You've ruined what it was.
They're not crying. They're making financial decisions. Again, a corporation. The executives, like, yeah, no. I mean, the viewership was not high enough to justify $180 million for us to do a second season. We are going to be renewing other series for almost the exact same reason.
And it's my friend. He plays music. And he showed me his music. And I said, your music's really good. And you're not going to get anywhere with it. And we were teenagers, and he was like, he's like, I think it's really good. You don't think it's good? And I was like, no, I think your music's fantastic, man. The drumming is on point. The guitar, the writing is fantastic. The lyrics are deep, and you've essentially made pickle ice cream. You know, some people might like it. They sell mustard ice cream now. Some people might like it.
Okay, no idea if the story is true. If it is true, it would be really, really funny if that person grew up to be some superstar that no one knows. Like, he doesn't remember Tim Pool at all. He's just like, that's just like white noise dust in the otherwise incredible career. It's like, and that kid grew up to be Kurt Cobain. And you're just like, and lesser known fact about him, years and years and years ago when Tim Pool was going to school, he told him way back in the day, I'm sorry, dude. It just sounds like pickle ice cream. I think some people, they like pickles, other people like ice cream. I don't know if they're going to love it, though. What is with all the AI art? You've got all this big budget. It's clearly trying to go for an aesthetic, and yet it's just riddled with AI. The whole thing. I'm going to try it with a different pitch. Okay, I am now officially manipulating his music. This is me manipulating it. No, don't do Molly. You might have a better sense of self-esteem. All right, let's try it slower. That sounds cool. That's better.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwynn, Sebastian Demmel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here